and dropped the barbell directly on my foot. Shattered my foot. What's funny is that was like the second or third exercise of my day, and I continued my workout with my foot. Yeah. Physically swelling in my shoe. Like I could feel it throbbing and swelling, and it was like awful. But I was like, this is my first workout. I think it was my first workout of the year too, because I think I joined in like late December and then came in for January. And yeah, I smashed my foot and then was there for another hour, drove home, and then just casually mentioned to my husband, I'm going to need to go to urgent care. I think I broke my foot. And we took my shoe off, and it was a nightmare. It was nightmare fuel. And yeah, but then I continued to work out in a boot. And then, what was it? Last October, I think it was. I was unsteady on my feet in the house, and I stumbled and I hit the like the leg of the bed, which was solid wood, and I broke a different toe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and continued to work out through that as well. And then coach yelled at me because I was doing that, I ended up spraining my LCL, so I couldn't squat for a while. But yeah, so those are my injuries so far that are MS related.
How? Wow. I mean, I want to ask you, like, you ever like thought about doing like something else, like alternative healing or something like that, or meditation or something like that? I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing that out there.
There are numerous treatments for MS that require shots and stuff like that. I have turned them down as of right now. To me, the side effects aren't worth just tolerating my symptoms right now. They're not cures. As far as I know, they're not going to really increase my quality of life that much to be worth the side effects that I may experience. So I'm just rolling with it right now. I try to eat clean. Exercise actually has helped a lot. I find on rest days, if I have multiple rest days in a row, I start to deteriorate. After like day 3, I start to not be able to talk as well, not be able to move as well. I take a few supplements to try to help with, brain tissue and stuff like that, nerve endings, all that.
Yeah. You still do what you can do. Just be cautious and aware. Yeah, I mean, that's the only advice that I could probably give. He gave you the advice. But, I mean, what your husband had to say about it, like,
I mean, he knows he can't stop me.
You don't listen to him, like you ain't gonna listen. Be like, hey, I don't want you to get hurt. Like, why don't you just go to the gym or work out or something? You don't have to do the powerlifting thing. So, I don't know.
I think he's proud of me. So,
all right, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. But how was your first your powerlifting competition?
I have done 3 so far. First one was last March, and I drove out, stayed overnight, and it was not great. It was my first time in like a powerlifting gym, and like the warm-up area didn't have safeties, and like the plates were different and like all kinds of stuff. I was just out of my element a little bit. My coach was unable to drive down. He's based in Virginia, and I currently live in Georgia. So I was, warming up my squats, and I started off way too heavy, and I couldn't get back up, and I had to bail it off my back. It pulled on my hair. It's a hot mess. One of the directors of the meet, came over and was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I explained it to him and everything. And he ended up kind of taking me under his wing. Shout out to Siraj if he's listening or sees this. And he kind of just guided me through my warm-ups and kept me calm. And there another powerlifter named Stacy Metcalf was there as well, because I didn't hit depth on my first 2 squats. And if you don't hit it the third time, you can't have a total. You can't actually be in competition and running with the other people. But despite all of that, I ended up getting first place in my age class. Just kind of a big deal. I didn't expect that at all. I was actually getting my stuff to leave, and I heard my name. I'm up on the podium with like my bag and like all this stuff, because I didn't expect to medal at all. So that was the first one. Then I did a second meet a few months later in August, and I had a friend fly out, Marco, and he was my handler for that meet. And again, I missed depth on the first 2 squats, and I was so frustrated because I feel like I had worked on it, and I know I was deeper than I was the first meet, but I was frustrated. Whatever. I ended up getting third in my age class for that meet, but I hated that meet so much. I messed up one of my bench presses. I jumped the command. Like, you're supposed to wait for them to say press and then wait for them to say rack. And I pressed it and just racked it. So that doesn't count. And then my heaviest deadlift, I ended up kind of hitching it a little bit on the way up. So that didn't count. So like, even with all of the mistakes that I made, I still ended up with third, which is wild. But this past meet that I did last week, that was amazing. I hit depth on all 3 squats for the first time. I got bench PRs, I got squat PRs, I got deadlift PRs. It was great. I only missed one bench, and I was just hungry, I think. You're there all day. And I might have overshot it because I was feeling myself, but it's fine.
How many people? How many people you competed against with? Were they strong like you, or?
I mean, everyone there is strong, so it's a bit humbling. Luckily, I'm older, so there aren't many in my age class. There's usually at least 3 to 7-ish. So that's why I think that's part of the reason why I always medal, because I'm usually stronger than other people my age. I'm usually closer to the younger people, but I'm in the older class, which is cool. But I also try to like just keep up with where I am amongst all the women. And this past meet, I think I was third in totals for all the women. There was like 11 or 12 women there. So that's still pretty good considering there's a lot of young people there that I'm competing with.
Yeah. I was looking at your Instagram. I seen you well, I seen pictures of you, like you doing squats and stuff like that. But yeah. So let me see. Miss is a tough affliction to deal with. I don't know what he mean by that, but
I mean, it is tough to deal with. It's every day. It's comes and goes. It's sometimes it's kind of gaslighting because you think there's nothing wrong with you. Because you'll have a few perfect days, and you're like, maybe this is all in my head, and then all of a sudden you can't walk, or all of a sudden you can't form words. I'm starting to lose my fine motor skills. I can't help my kids put a Band-Aid on sometimes, or put my earrings in. It just, it sucks, but I'm just adapting to it, and eventually I'll have to probably compete as adaptive with straps or braces, or only do bench or only do deadlift or something like that. But I'm going to keep going until I can't walk. Like I always tell my coach, if I can stand, I can lift.
Yeah, how far do you see yourself doing it, like on powerlifting?
Honestly, until I can't walk. I'm going to find a way to compete. Like, you don't
I don't
have to
know
do all
about
3
that,
events.
but
You don't have to do all 3
yeah,
events. You can do just bench or just deadlifts. So, if I eventually can't do all 3 of them, then that's fine. If I can only do a couple of them or one of them with, adaptations, that's fine as well. I want to make sure that I can show people that I don't set limitations on myself. And that's important to show my kids as well.
yeah. Well, I know you said your boy. I mean, your coach is a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
forged by faith,
Mm-hmm.
dwelling. Okay. Yeah. How long he been competing?
I don't know. I think he's been competing a long ass time. I know he's been working out for a long ass time. He's very knowledgeable about the human body and, food intake and stuff like that, and musculature. And he's just a very knowledgeable person to have in my corner. And I appreciate him very much.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Like, have you ever thought about competing in bodybuilding? I don't know.
Honestly, they have to cut too much, and that just looks painful. Like, I've heard stories about their
Yeah,
food hurting
yeah.
as they walk out because there's no water in their body. And I don't think I have a lot of discipline, but I don't think I have that much discipline.
Nah, I'm not mad at you. It's really, it ain't as easy as people might think it might be. I mean, it's
Right.
really tough. I don't even think I'll be a bodybuilder. The
Hmm.
closest thing I have done calisthenics. I've done,
Hmm.
I've ran,
Hmm.
and try to stay fit and all that stuff, but bodybuilding, it was more of me just liking the women and stuff like that. I've lifted
You're
weights,
honest.
don't get me. Yeah, I've lifted weights. I went to, my friend, he would invite me to the gym at
Hmm.
times, and we would just get busy a bit and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But it wasn't. I never had the money for it.
Yeah,
to
it's
go
very
to a
expensive.
gym.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I would just, go to the park and work out and stuff. I would do
Hmm.
yoga and all that type of stuff. Now I
Hmm.
just do meditation and stuff like
Right.
that.
Hmm.
But like I wouldn't want to do that. Like, yeah, I mean, I've been to like bodybuilding shows. I'm planning
Hmm.
to go to this bodybuilding show that's coming up this month. It's the
Hmm.
New York Pro and stuff
Okay.
like that. So yeah, so check it out. So yeah, so why don't you tell me about the USA Powerlifting Savannah? Have you attended this
That was the
event?
meet that I just did last week. Yeah.
Oh,
I drove
okay.
out
How
to
was that?
Savannah. It
Yeah,
was nice.
yeah, you
Yeah.
told me. Yeah.
Yeah, I drove out the day before because I usually do like a early equipment check the day before, and I just prefer to do that rather than get there extra early and lose out on sleep the morning of. So I drove out there. It's a lovely drive, all highway. Got a little hotel room. This way, I'm away from the kids, away from my husband. I can just kind of be calm and get my head
Mhm.
together and everything.
Yeah. Your husbands don't go to your shows, at least like few of your
He
shows.
took the kids to my first show. He got there. It was a couple hours away. It was on the border between Georgia and Tennessee. And he took them to that show. They were all cute. They had the little matching shirts on to support me and stuff. But it's very loud and it's very long and it's very boring. There's usually
Um,
several flights, which is several groups of people competing. I'm usually in the
yeah,
first flight because I'm a woman. Usually all the women go first because we're not as strong as the men. So they missed all my squats, thankfully, that I missed. But they got there around bench press time and they were in the crowd and it was nice and they were excited to see me and watch me. But then once I finish bench pressing, they have to wait for the other two flights to go through before I start deadlifting. So they were just bored. Um,
oh,
and my son doesn't really like loud noises, and it's usually very loud, people cheering and trying to encourage people to get their lifts and stuff like that. So they ended up, I believe, leaving early as well. So they saw all of my bench press and I think a couple of my deadlifts or all of my deadlifts and went and left straight after that. So they didn't see me get the medal either. But they watched the second meet that I did was streaming live, so they got to watch me on TV for that. And this past meet, they were home. It wasn't streaming, but they played along on lifting cast. They can watch and see like when my lifts went through and stuff like that.
that's cool. That's cool. I don't think. Well, I don't. I should know. I never watched a powerlifting live stream. I've
It's
seen
boring.
some of it on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, I probably
Right.
need to check more. But I remember when I was a kid, like they would show it on TV.
Hmm.
Powerlifting and stuff.
See, I
But
didn't even know that powerlifting was a thing until a few years ago. Like I've seen bodybuilding on TV since I was little.
yeah,
But yeah, I never really even heard, like, it wasn't for Instagram and just like finding new people and finding new athletes. I'm not sure I would have even came across powerlifting in my everyday life.
yeah. I mean, they don't showcase it that much like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe at the Olympics or something like that. But
Even
they
the Olympics, I think, is Olympic weightlifting. It's all the clean and jerks
oh
and all this
weightlift.
kind of stuff. Yeah. It's not even
Okay.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you a stupid question, but what's the difference like the weightlifting,
Um,
powerlifting?
just the different movements. Powerlifting is strictly squat, bench, and deadlift, and Olympic weightlifting is more like what is it called? Like clean and snatch, which is like you pull the bar up off the floor and then like squat down with it and then jump up with it up above your head.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah,
it
yeah.
looks there. Unfortunately, that's not for me. I know I wouldn't have the balance for that. I could do it at light weights. I've done it like when coach says have fun. I've done it with light weights, but I wouldn't be able to compete with that.
Mm. Oh. Is your camera
It's
stiff?
it's an
Hello?
interesting sport.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
oh, okay.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
thought I thought you had like a stiff screen. That's why. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. He all the rage, George. Don't be afraid to show out those young guns.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what is your heaviest? He took my goddamn question. I was about to ask her. I was thinking about asking it, but it's fine. What is your heaviest lift?
Deadlift is definitely my best lift. Right now I'm just shy of 315. I'll probably crack 315 soon. But I did 308 at my last meet, a little over 308 because I do it in kilograms, but in pounds it's 308 something. And in training I've gotten 310 up, but I'm hoping to crack 315 in the next few weeks.
Yeah. How is training for you? Like during like how many days that you train to do the powerlifting?
Um, I just dropped down to 4 days a week. I was 5 days a week. My coach has me rotating between a squat day, a bench day, and a deadlift day with accessories. I take off on Wednesdays, and sometimes I do cardio, but it's optional. And yeah, I just spend about an hour plus doing whatever the main lift is, and then another hour plus doing accessories and a little bit of cardio, and I go home.
Oh, okay. For you, like you said, like you was overweight. Yeah, and I seen
Mhm.
like pictures of you
Mhm.
overweight. Like what's the difference? What's the difference between now and then? If I
I'm just healthier. I can, climb stairs. I can play with my kids. I don't get winded easily. I'm still not skinny, but I don't really want to be skinny. I feel healthy. That's really all that matters to me. All my blood tests are good and heart rate's good and all that. Um, so yeah, I just feel healthy and good, and I have stamina. I have endurance at the gym. Strong. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's good. You don't do any cardio or anything like that?
I hate cardio. Like I hate it. I just
Yeah,
want to lift,
I
lift, lift,
figured.
lift, lift. But it's important, for cardiac health and all that. So I do try to average about an hour to hour and a half throughout the week. I break it up. Sometimes I do 15, 20 minutes after a workout. Usually not on leg day because my leg's usually cooked by then. And then on that optional day, I might do a half hour, 40 minutes, something like that.
Mm, okay. He says you have to have serious